Hello, great people. Welcome to today's session as we share 5 easy steps that can guide you or that will get you started in drawing up a practical budget. And as we all know that budget helps us to know what we can afford, let's get ready and get started. First step, distinguish between your needs and your wants. Each person's needs and wants are different. For many people, a laptop might be something they want, but an accountant or a software engineer, it is a need. Needs are things that you cannot do without. This generally includes food, water, housing, and let's say basic clothing. Wants are those things that we would like to have or that are nice to have, but we do not need them for survival. They are often called luxuries and include things like, let's say, cigarette, alcohol, sweets, a new phone, a brand new car, things like that. Now, to set up an accurate budget, you have to be honest about what you really need and what you really want. The second step is list your sources of income. Now, what is your monthly income? Income is any money you receive on a regular basis. You might earn income from various sources, including, let's say, salary or wages, a social government grant, a stipend, allowances from, let's say, family or friends, or child maintenance or child upkeep. Income also includes money from a business. So if you're operating some business somewhere, so the income from that business or where you sell items, money received from renting out a room or running a guest house also falls under income. So you have to list all these when drawing up your budget. Step 3, list your expenses, including what you need to save. Now, what the types of expenses we have are: 1, fixed expenses. Now, the amount you pay does not change frequently, and payments are made regularly, for example, monthly, including rent or let's say bond repayments, school fees, insurance premiums, car repayments, that is if you have a car loan, and we'd have things like if you have a mortgage and you're paying specific amount monthly, that will also belong under fixed expenses. And again, the second one we have is variable expenses. Now, these are expenses you pay every month, but they change depending on your usage. For example, airtime or electricity, water, groceries, public transport, or fuel for your vehicle. So these ones, they do vary depending on now how the usage, how much you used them. So anything which varies, any expense which varies, falls under variable expenses. Now the third one, as I mentioned, is savings. So savings also falls under expenses. Now, saving is essential and should always be listed on your budget as an expense. Because actually the reason why you have to list it as an expense is if you wait to see what is left at the end of the month, you will not save anything. Saving also ensures you are prepared for life's emergencies. So savings is very important, but ensure that you also list it under expenses. So when you're listing your expenses, be aware that we have fixed expenses, variable expenses, and saving. Step 4, subtract your expenses from your income to see what you have left. So if it is a positive figure, that is a good thing. But when your income is less than your expenses, you will automatically have a budget deficit. Now, too little cash to provide for your wants or needs. A budget deficit is not sustainable. It is not financially viable. The only choices are to eliminate the deficit by 1, increase your income, or number 2, reduce your expenses. So you can increase your income through side hustles and other things, or getting another source of income, added source, or reduce your expenses. And when you're doing this, start with the variable expenses, and mostly if you can reduce some part of your wants, it would be easier for you to be at par. Now, step 5, and the last step, is keep track of your monthly expenses by updating your budget regularly. So this budget, when you draft or you draw up your budget, you don't do it once and you forget about it. You have to keep updating it regularly. And when you track, what you also need to do, you need to track your spending. Because when you track your spending, you know where your money goes, and you can ensure that your money is used wisely. Tracking your expenditure also allows you to understand why you are in debt, if at all you are, and how you got them. This will then help you design a befitting strategy of getting out of debt. So ensure that you master the 5th step, and ensure that you keep track of your monthly expenses, and you update that your budget regularly. So as I come to the end of this, ensure whenever you are coming up with a budget or you are drawing up a budget, ensure that you follow the steps I've mentioned. Distinguish between your needs and your wants. List your sources of income. List your expenses, including what you want to save. Subtract your expenses from your income to see what you have left, and keep track of your monthly expenses by updating your budget regularly. But now, what I call a bonus is what we need to do. It's just a bonus. Now, these are tips to reach your budget. There are 2. The first one is when you need a cut, or when you need a cut down on certain expenses. That is when you have a budget deficit. It is usually easier to cut down on variable expenses, especially variable ones. And the next tip is, now, budgeting isn't a one-off activity. You should revisit your budget regularly as your income or expenditure change. So if today you get a pay rise, you need to revisit your budget and review it. If today you get more expenses, or you realize that you're spending less, you also need to visit your budget as well. So if you just follow the tips we've given, if you follow the steps we've shared, then you will never go wrong when it comes to budgeting. Thank you for being part of this. If you've never subscribed to this channel, ensure you do so, and you can give us thumbs up if you like the video and if you like the good job we are doing. See you in the next video. Stay safe.